about 3 weeks ago, I had Miss Barracuda tested to see if she was a free martin. For those of you that have followed us long enough, you know that Barracuda is a doe that I brought in back in, oh my goodness, I think it was January was when we brought her in, and I have yet to see her cycle. I've had a couple times I thought she cycled, but then it just didn't seem like she really accepted the lovin's of a buck. I suspected that maybe there was something going on with her, maybe that she was a free martin. Took blood test, sent it away to a lab. The lab came back and said she is not a free martin. She does not have the genetic markers to say that she's anything but female. So I instead have tried to do the cedar method. So cedars are progesterone delivery devices. They help to sync up and program your does. And I know while programming might seem like a really sterile type of term or terminology to use when it comes to our girls, but it kind of helps to make sure that they come into a breeding cycle maybe a little bit when it suits me best. So Barracuda had a cedar inserted 2 weeks ago. Yesterday I came out and I gave her a shot of Lutalice, which is gonna just kind of help reset her entire system, because though she is not a free martin, I really suspect that she might be cystic. So I'm hoping that by giving her a cedar, a progesterone delivery device, will trick her body into thinking she's pregnant. And then when I remove it, all that, the hormonal drops happen. I'm gonna give her a shot of PG 600 to make sure that it's a good, strong, fertile cycle. If she has one, fingers crossed, guys, that she actually has this cycle. If she doesn't, I'm gonna give her another week or two, and then I'm gonna put in another cedar and try to really flush her system and try to get it going into the direction that I want it to, because I really need her to breed this year. If she does not breed, and that she's not a free martin, I could either send her off to another farm saying, I have not been able to get her settled. This is what I think you can do for her. This is the price for her, or I can eat her. And honestly, I'm leaning more towards the side of eating her if this doesn't work out, because guys, goats are livestock. If they're pets on your farm, wonderful. I'm so happy for you here. They have to serve a purpose. This is just how we do things on our farm, and that's okay. All farms are different. All right, so I've got this drawn. I'm not going to give all of this for a standard size goat, like 4 to 5 cc's would be just fine. But with her being a Nigerian, I've been the last ones I did were 1.5 cc's of the PG 600, and they came into heat like clockwork within 24 hours the very next day. So when I pull her cedar, give her this injection, I'll be watching her tomorrow, like around this time in the afternoon, to see if she is having a strong heat. And if she is one of those weird ones that maybe she has a heat, but she's just not like super, hello, here I am with it. Like some of them are, they go down there, they scream and they wag their tails. There's discharge, there's all the indicators that they're in heat. Sometimes you have does that don't have heats like that. They're, I would call it a ghost. They're ghost heats. They're there, you just can't see them. So I might also pull up a buck to put with her as she starts to enter into a heat. And this, I will probably leave her with a buck the entire time, as long as she will seem like she's accepting in advance, especially if she shows that she's in a cycle, because I want her to be bred. The more that she is exposed, the more likely she is that she's going to have a baby, because honestly, at this point, I need her system to set the way that it's supposed to. So if she's cystic, this will help push some of those cysts out of her ovarian system, which is what I kind of suspect she's at. And honestly, her bloodlines and some of the bucks down there, I would be very tempted to keep a good buck off of her anyways. So that's what we're gonna do. This is the day in the life of the goat farmer here, guys. So she's right here. Let's see if I can you see. Not really. Let's go ahead and bring you guys down. Oh goodness. So I've got her right here. I'm gonna just hold her like this. She's a big girl, so she wants to push me, she can. She's being an idiot. There's a string, so I'm gonna go pull that out. So I've got the cedar out. I know, I'm sorry, Mama. I'm gonna give her a little shot in the boutte. I'm gonna go slow because I don't wanna. I know you guys are not gonna see all of this. should know better to leave you guys on the tripod when there are other goats around, but there's her cedar. This is what the cedars look like. She is a little uncomfortable now because I pulled out her progesterone tampon and I gave her a shot of PG 600. I am just going to be watching her for the next 24 or 48 hours, praying to God above to let her please, 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 please come into a heat, because I really like this animal a lot. I like a lot about her, and it would just be nice to get a kid out of her. Whenever you spend money on something, hoping it'll do something for you, especially like in this livestock husbandry world, I bought her for her genetics, and it's important because of the reason I bought her being genetic, that she has to reproduce in order to pass on these genetics. And she also has to reproduce in order to come into a lactation. And guys, this is a dairy goat farm. We are breeding dairy goats, miniature dairy goats, small dairy goats, trying to better our breed. And in order for her to stay and to be useful and to do what I actually purchased her to do, she must cycle, receive the attentions of a buck, successfully be impregnated and carry a kid to term and to lactate. That's really what she's here to do. And she is chunky. Look how chunky she is. You're a chunky girl. You're a chunky girl. Let me see how beautiful you are. You are very pretty. She's very upset that I just pulled that, but she's got a lot of width. She's really smooth throughout. I'm not super like stoked about her shoulders, but she's also overweight now because she is a 2-year-old going on a 3-year-old that's never bred. I honestly feel like this is part of the reason why the breeder had her for sale. Now, it wasn't her original breeder that sold her. Her breeder sold her to a farm that showed her as a junior. She did really well, placed pretty much middle to the top half of her class. Just needed some time to mature. Well, girl is a hoss now, and she is mature, and she's putting on fat instead of lactating. So for dairy goats, it's important that we breed them around 2 years old, or when they are big enough, mature enough, because especially with Nigerian dwarfs and dairy goats overall, their bodies are meant to produce. Dairy goats, over the centuries that we've had them and that we've bred them and domesticated them, we've pushed them to produce. So the fact that we've bred for genetics that increase milk production, when milk production is not being performed, the body is still like trying to produce and hold in, taking all those nutrients and calories to then lactate. So when they don't, they get really fat. And then when they get fat like that, it is really difficult for them to reproduce. It's really hard for them to kind of catch and to just have a healthy pregnancy. So I'm praying to the good Lord above that pulling this cedar and giving her this shot is going to do the trick for her. She's really, really pretty. I actually really like her personality. She's not very happy with me right now, which, girl, same. If someone was doing that to me, I wouldn't want to talk to them either. Okay guys, it's been about 16 hours since we pulled Barracuda cedar and gave her a 1.5 cc injection of PG 600. I'm going in and doing my my chores. My chores this time of year look different because I'm not milking as much, if like at all. I kind of just let them do their thing, and I'm really hoping I'm gonna walk in here and I'm gonna see Barracuda in a screaming heat, even though we're only 16 hours in, and technically like she has 2 days, so 48 hours. Oh look, Spell and Lillian are like, where's our food? Today I'm going to be letting out Melrose and her mom because she's no longer weeping with her pink eye. I'm checking on Miss Uzi with her pink eye. She looks a little weepy this morning, so I'll probably just move these two to the bigger pen that Melrose has been in. But I'm going to go ahead and feed real quick, and then hopefully we'll see if Barracuda has any signs of anything going on. I'm not going to get my hopes up because it is 16 hours in, but I am hoping like by today or tomorrow we see something from her. All right, let's go get these monsters fed. Okay, the chungus is right there. I'm sorry, she looked up when I said that. I don't see any signs in her yet. That doesn't mean anything. I just came in here being a little bit enthusiastic, hoping I would see something crazy, but I have not. So I will just keep watching her throughout the day. And honestly, I didn't expect to see a whole lot at 16 hours. Gotta give the body a moment to kind of adjust to the progesterone drop. That the lute does its job resetting from 24 hours ago, and that the PG 600 kicks in and makes it a very fertile, strong heat. So, while I'm a little sad, I haven't seen it just yet this morning, I'm having faith that it will happen, because I really don't want to have to put this doe in the freezer. She's going to get another round of cedars if for some reason she doesn't, but I also may go ahead and bring like Stifler or Lunar, because I think those are the two I'm thinking about breeding her to. I might bring them up this afternoon and just stall her with them. Sometimes bucks will help drive them into a heat too. We're at 24 hours and I need to see how Miss Cooties are. Hi, look at all you pretty girls. Oh Lord, where are you at, Cootie? Cootie? Where's my Cuda girl? There she is, way back there. Hi, Cuda Cuda. Are you starting to feel frisky? Please say yes. Oh, Cuda. Are you feeling frisky at all? Maybe. So, I'm not sure. She's in any type of heat right now. He's interested. She's not upset. So, I figured instead of watching her like a hawk and worrying, I'd go ahead and just put Mr. Stifler in here and let him be with her as much as possible for the next 2 days to breed her if she is receptive. Okay, he's on her, but there's no... Wow, this is looking promising so far already. I wish she'd come off of that. Oh, there was a successful breeding. She hunched. She's hunched. She's hunched. She hunched. Oh, that is so good. I have yet to see her be bred and hunch. So that is a really, really good sign. And she did not run from him. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Now, this doesn't mean anything. Like, she could still maybe not catch you, but this is very promising. This is the first actual, like, real breeding that I've seen where it seemed like all of the body language was there. Thank you, Jesus. So the reason I get a little... I'm aggressive with this when I say that I would just eat her rather than sell her. I absolutely could sell her ADGA registered papers. We know she's not a Hermie because we actually were able to insert a cedar with no, like, it feels like a brick wall. Like when you try to insert anything in there, because like basically the genitalia are not completely developed, the female genitalia, so there's no place for an insert to go. Also, why they technically don't tend to show heat. So that's why I was worried when I went to put in her cedar. I'm like, well, this will tell me if she's a Hermie, and she wasn't. So the blood test says she's not a free Martin. Her anatomy says she's not a hermaphrodite. It just means that she's having trouble conceiving. Not unheard of, especially if they're cystic, and does get cystic sometimes. They develop like cysts or polyps like up, in the uterus, in the fallopian tube, or in the horn. I can't remember where. But that's why we are cycling her this way. We're trying to program her cycle, is to maybe flush any cysts that are there and to get her into a really receptive cycle. And now that she's with him, she's starting to flag. And he's talking sweet nothings to her. So this is a really, really good sign. But I could obviously send her off with papers with full disclosure that I couldn't get her to settle. It'll be another monetary loss. But then I worry that, then someone else is going to invest more for a doe that maybe they can't breed. So I don't know. And honestly, the market is very saturated. Odds of me moving her would be slim to none. I'm selling does for way cheaper than they should be going right now to make room for my keeper does. But, abuse doesn't happen in a freezer. So I worry about their well-being too. I know the level of care I give them. So sometimes that just seems like it's the best solution for everybody. I don't have to worry about them going somewhere and maybe not being managed correctly or being treated the right way, in my opinion. I would know that they had the best care that they could get, and that I loved them, and I took a lot of really, really good care of them, and that their last moment, their heads down in a green
buck out of this doe I would keep.
Stuff their ever-loving face, and they never
she's just got a lot of width. She'd be very complimentary to him, honestly.
I have a weather
and this breeding would be a reset for her cycle because, like I said, I've never been able to catch her in a strong cycle. I've never really seen a buck mount her, so whenever I'm catching her in a cycle, she's receptive.
She's not in like a screaming
heat at that moment.
But then again, like, I've never seen a true heat from her, so I don't know what her signs are. She could just be a really quiet ghost cycler, but at least this way I know when she was supposed to come into heat, and I can watch. I'm watching because, like, he's really, really very interested in her, and he is perfuming himself pretty vigorously right now. It's really, really gross. I mean, she digs it because she's all about his advances right now. He is such a nice buck. So that's what we got on the docket today, trying to get Miss Cuda bred.
Good boy. You're just too friendly. You're too friendly. I know he wants pets, but he's really stinky too. These guys are almost in full rut. It's kind of gross. You guys are kind of gross. You're kind of gross.
All right, I put him in here with her last night, like right at 24 hours of pull from her cedar, and he's very, very happy, and she has been super loud this morning, and she's been having a lot of tail action, just acting like she really should when she's in heat. I've never seen that before. So it's just really reassuring to see her kind of have a lot of these reactions that she's supposed to have naturally. Now, I do believe that she probably was cystic. Now, instead of cedering, when you have cystic does, you can also give them what's called cistrulline, and then a dose of lute to kind of push them to release those cysts and for those, just the blockage to kind of go away. It's a lot. I was reading a lot on it this morning to see, but then if all else fails, because sometimes cystic does too will go into heat all the time. They will just be a screaming demon. They'll short cycle a lot, but they'll never get pregnant. And it's usually because they might be cystic. To the point where if that happens so long, it's almost like the receptor in the brain for the lutein hormone, which helps within the ovulation process. If I read like a lot of new terms, learning a lot about reproductive chemistry in the brain for goats and stuff. But they say sometimes when that happens and they go into heat, all that, it almost like cuts off that receptor in the brain or that trigger to release the correct hormone, and it can cause their progesterone to be a little bit low. So the secondary thing was to go ahead and put a cedar in and to flood their system with progesterone so that like that trigger, that light clicks off in the brain again, so that when progesterone is withdrawn, then it receives a trigger to ovulate and to have all of the correct hormones and all the correct chemistry to happen in order for a goat to ovulate correctly. So hopefully that's what we've done here. And she does not mind that. But it's because she's feeling it, and she's feeling him. He's a handsome boy. I tell you what, if I could pick him, this one is the prettiest buck out there so far. And she is just, see that tail's just a going and going and going, and he is just loving on her and rubbing on her, and she doesn't mind it at all. She's totally fine with that, and she is a sweet girl. She's a sweet girl. I am going to leave him in here until this afternoon, also because he'll have been in here for 24 hours, and if I have anybody who's really close to cycling, sometimes like putting a buck in here this close to like the rest of the does. This guy doesn't jump, so I don't have a whole lot of concern. Not to mention a lot of his daughters are too small and have not really cycled yet, so I don't really worry about that. But he is one that, like, if he got in and he just bred everybody that was receptive at the moment, like, I'd have no problem with that. It would be totally fine. Unplanned, would have a hard time figuring out maybe who was in heat if we had silent heaters in here, but just leaving him in here till the end of the day. So if he's got anybody else who's a willing participant, then I'll let them participate. I'm going to have him and Lunar collected next month. So hopefully I'll be able to film a little bit of that so that you guys understand like what happens in a buck collection. I'll be doing a lot of prep for them. This is good. We're just trying to make sure that the pipes are all working and they're all cleaned out, and these guys know what they're doing. So it's not like a young buck, or I'd have to really worry if they would get to be collected or in with kids like he was last year at this time of year. He wasn't able to do his job just yet. It took him a little bit of time to figure out his purpose, but now he really loves his purpose and he's really, really good at it. So I'll take you guys through all that as it comes, but right now I'm just ecstatic that she is in here and she's receptive, and that I've seen the deed done several times because she's just a really, really sweet girl, and he is a really, really nice buck. Hopefully this weekend he does well and he gets the last legs that he needs to be a permit champ. But just look at him. He's just gorgeous. He's very, very, very correct. Like super correct. Exactly what I needed for my herd.